We are live. This is the Reseller Wakeup episode 170. What's going on, everybody? How was the weekend and your Monday? And hope everybody's week's going good so far. What's up with you guys?
I'm awake.
That's a pretty big step right there.
Right.
That's a big one right there.
That's step one.
Right.
What about you, Jake? Any garage sales or anything over the weekend that...
Yeah, I attempted a garage sale last weekend, and I got everything set up, and it was the same day as the citywide yard sale, which I thought would bring me traffic. And when everybody started to show up, it decided to downpour on everything I had out there. So
nice.
That was not a success.
Yeah, we're talking. So Jake actually had a yard sale this weekend. So it
attempted to.
Yeah, so that failed miserably.
Yeah.
Not such a great idea. Yeah. Kind of like the day that I moved out of my house in April when it snowed the entire freaking day. At the end of April, I was like, what the hell? Why do you hate me?
What have I done to you?
I know.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, what's that?
I sold a 1977 Mattel football electronics game.
What?
I don't know, like...
It's like the little metal thing where it, like, vibrates around?
I don't know what kind of football games you play, but...
No, you know what I mean? The little, like, the rectangle thing, or is that, like, super old? My grandpa had...
Are you talking about, like, the little pinball things?
No, here, I'll share.
Okay. I can't even keep up with my Amazon sales right now. It's insane.
No, this was eBay.
Yeah, I realized I should have got a lot more of something.
This thing here.
Oh.
I picked this and about 5 other things up like it at a yard sale a while back for $10. It's got $27.29 for it.
Nice.
I was pretty excited about that.
Nice, just for the first one.
Yeah.
I like old the old handhelds like that.
And I did sell the tabletop electronic Galaxian game, but the guy canceled the order. It's like, man, that was $100.
Was it local pickup only?
No. It was a tabletop arcade. It's like this big.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, you said tabletop, and I had like this vision of like one of those tables with the game built into it.
That's what I was. Yeah.
Game.
I was exactly with you.
I was like $100. What?
Did you see?
You suck, Jake.
Did you guys see? Did you see where somebody's making the table, like taking a tabletop, like actual freaking table, and putting like I think the one they showed was Risk. Like they had painted really nicely the Risk board on one of the rectangular kitchen-sized tables.
Oh wow!
And we're selling those.
That's pretty awesome.
It looked really cool too. Like they did a really nice job. It was the exact, Risk board, and then you just, pulled your guys out. Very cool idea.
Weird playing Risk on a board that big with like regular sized pieces though.
I know you'd need like big pieces.
No, actually, no, you probably wouldn't, because I remember a lot of Risk games where you get to the point where it's the end of the game and you're like trying to pile everything up into a little square. There's like a pile of pieces against a pile of pieces.
Yeah.
But then you just go at it.
I don't know. I think that's pretty cool idea.
Yeah. Yeah, Friday I went to a bunch of garage sales and I did pretty good. I got this watch. It's a GeForce.
Oh man.
Like one of those G-Shock watches. The battery didn't work. It was dead because it had been sitting in a shoebox for years or whatever. So I grabbed it thinking, okay, well it's still worth I could get the battery. I could change the battery and it'll be worth like $50 or $60 minimum. I mean, this one's actually in really good shape. I might try and I might keep it because this one Like I used this one all weekend, and I was helping a friend paint, and I got paint all over it. And I'm like, damn, I wish I would have had a beater watch to wear while I was doing that. But I mean, this is like one of these G-Shock watches. They're atomic and solar powered and shock protected. Like if you try and take the batteries out, there's a bunch of springs inside the movement and everything to absorb like all the like getting knocked around. They're really, really cool. But I mean, they retail for like $100, and like you just hit a little button and it automatically receives the time and date and everything, so you don't have to set anything, and it just automatically updates. And as long as you keep it in the light, then the battery lasts for like 20 years, so you never have to do anything.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're pretty neat watches, but
I
got it for $1. What's that?
$1?
I wish cars did that.
I know, right? Wouldn't that be cool? No, yeah, I paid $1 for it.
Nice.
So it was worth it. But yeah, I just set it down, and it was on my kitchen table, and like most of the time I have my blinds open so the sun can come in, and I'm like walking out on my patio because that's where I do most of my pictures and everything. And then after like 2 or 3 hours, it turned on. I was like, sweet. I was like watching YouTube videos on how to change the battery, and I was like looking at eBay trying to find out how much a battery was going to cost and if I was going to have to buy any tools, and then all of a sudden it just turned on.
That's
cool.
awesome. I've been doing nothing but working on the house and that kind of stupid crap.
Yeah. Well, at that same yard sale, there was a rack of shirts, and I started looking through them. They were all the same size Ralph Lauren polo shirts, and they all had dry cleaner stickers on them or tags on them. And I was like, oh damn! And I started looking in the looking on the table out like the table in front of it, and they had like a bunch of Rockin' Republic jeans and Levi's and just like all these high-end jeans. So I was like, how much for everything? She's like, oh, I don't know, like $5 a piece. And then it ended up being like 12 pieces that I actually wanted. I was like, all right, $12, or so it's like $60. Can you do 40? She's like, yeah, I can do 40. And then I reached into my pocket and I pull out $34. I was like, oh, this is all the cash I have. She was like, oh, well, don't worry about it. You can have it. It's fine. You take it all. I was like, sweet.
Nice.
So, I got like 8 Ralph Lauren polo shirts, all the same size, which, I mean, people say don't buy Ralph Lauren polo anymore. Ralph Lauren sucks, blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you can get, it does sell, and you can get good money for the shirts, but if you have like 10 of them in a lot, now they'll pay the 20 or $25 per shirt that you would have got individually, as long as they're all the same size.
Yep.
People will do that. Same with jeans. I mean, there were like 3 pairs of Rockin' Republic jeans, all the same size. I'll just put them all up together. But just
I always lot those up.
Yeah,
Whenever
I'm really
I go
bad
to
at
Goodwill on like cheap days when everything's like 50 cents for the shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
I just load up the cart but I stopped doing it just because I'm lazy and I hate doing clothes.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I love to buy clothes. I've realized this. I was thinking about it this weekend because I had all those clothes. I'm like, damn, I got to list a lot of stuff. Plus, I'm behind. I got a bunch of stuff upstairs that really needs to get listed. I just haven't done anything with clothing lately. And, I mean, I've listed like a couple of shirts and that's it. But I realized I love to buy clothes. I love to sell clothes. I love the profit margin on clothes. I love everything about clothes except listing it. So I think I really need to hire somebody finally at that point.
I would totally do clothes if I could pay somebody else to list them.
Yeah. Basically. I mean, I figure all I need is somebody that can take decent pictures and then just give them like a little worksheet like this, and then, I mean, it's got all the measurements, and they just write the name of the item, put all the measurements in. Go to the next item, put all the measurements in. Go to the next item, put all the measurements in. And then do everything in order, keep everything in order, and then when they bring it down to me to list, you got a pile of stuff that's like you just start from the bottom and just knock it out really fast. And all the pictures are in the same thing too, like the last picture is the last thing on the list, And then that's the first thing that's in the pile. And then just knock it out, but... Yeah, eBay's been kind of slow for me. It's going to just because I haven't been listening, you know. But Amazon has been freaking insane.
Amazon people are still buying back to school stuff.
That's weird.
Really?
They're still buying my school things.
I'm still watching people post pics of it's little Johnny's first day of school. It's like, Jesus, it's like, what? How's it? Well, maybe not still, but a couple weeks ago they were still posting those pictures. But I mean, that stuff sells year round, just a lot slower. And
Right.
then there's also a lot of people that just put it off and put it off and put it off, and you know, just procrastinate until it's like, all right, fine, I'll go get you your stuff. You've been in school for 2 weeks, you haven't even done anything yet. Yeah.
Well, and of course kids lose stuff too, so there's that.
Yeah.
I think some of the stuff that I've been selling, I think it's like, you know, they're first-time parents, their kids, you know, kindergarten, you know, first time having a kid in school, so they don't quite know, they don't have it figured out yet. You know what I mean? And
Oh, yeah.
so I think they're just, I don't know, I guess they're still grabbing stuff that they think might make their day easier to get their kid off to school.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Ever since I turned on this repricer, it's like Amazon just exploded for me. I didn't even realize how much, like how important pricing is. I mean, I do it manually, you know, every couple weeks I'll go back through and mess around, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, I'm still within like $1 of the lowest price, or I'm like matching the price of the buy box or whatever, you know, and I mean, this repricer, I turn it on, and like a lot of the stuff, they price it up. You know, I'm getting emails. It's like, oh, we're shutting your listing down because there's a price error. And then you go to it, and it priced it up to like $50 or something. You know, and then it did it with a bunch of stuff, and then some of it actually sells. It's like, what the hell? But it's pricing stuff down too. But I haven't lost anything. Like,
What one are
to the
you
point-
using?
Be cool. I think I'm gonna. I want to use this one until my trial runs out, and then I'm probably going to try another one because there are a couple others that people are telling me I need to try before I like throw my hat in the lot of, you know,
Right.
one. But I do feel like this one is, just because I had not been using a repricer for a year, I had so much back inventory stocked up that when my repricer hit, I had all this stuff that was a lot higher ranked than I really kind of thought it was. And once the price was correct, I don't know if Amazon like pushes it harder or something when the price is what they want it to be or what, but it exploded. I mean, it just started boom, boom, boom.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, literally changing it by pennies, and I don't understand.
And it's not even necessarily dropping the price like a penny under the lowest price, even. You know, I mean.
No, I mean going
crazy.
up or down, like pennies can make something. And like once, like I had something. What was it? It was like a little backpacks or some little thing for kids, and I thought they would go at a moderate pace. And when I first got them there, you know, they went pretty much at the pace I thought they would go. And then they just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And then I changed the price. I went up on it because, you know, I refuse to be the lowest price on anything. And then within, it was a little over a week, the rest of them were gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it was like, and I was scrambling, of course, trying to find more and couldn't find any more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with my repricer, last Tuesday I started it, and it was like the first day that I'd kicked everything in and downloaded all my inventory and started setting the repricer up. And I'd been, like, the first 2 weeks were like the worst 2 weeks I've ever had on Amazon, where I did like $100 a day or something like that, or $150 a day on average or something. I mean, I'm used to doing like, you know, 200 or 300 minimum, and then I'll have that spike once a week where I do like 500 or 600.
Yeah.
You know, because I sell a big ticket item. And Tuesday that I set up everything, had 700 in sales.
Nice.
And then the next day, I had 1750 in sales. Or was it 1650? It was like $1,600 to $1,700, right around there in sales. And then every day since then, it's been like 300 to 600 every single day.
Nice.
You better be off for sending in more stuff.
Yeah, I need to. I know. Well, I've got a lot of inventory left. I had about 900 items in inventory when that started. So it was like I knew I needed to do it, set it up just because I knew I couldn't go in and do like micromanage that much inventory.
I need to just give it up and pick a repricer and go with it and just leave it alone.
Well, most of them have a free trial, so you can always just try it out for a couple weeks and then shut it off if you don't want to pay for it. And that's another thing too. Like, I could just shut this off and send a couple more shipments in, just back off and wait, and then try the next repricer in a couple months when I've got my inventory back up, and then just have another one of those, 14-day record days. Because I mean, everything's already repriced, in my inventory, so a lot of that stuff's gonna stay relevant for a while. So,
I'm just gonna wait until you pick one, and then I'll just do that one. That seems a whole lot easier to me.
Yeah, I just need to find the one with the best affiliate program.
There you go.
All about the affiliates.
You're such a fail, Dusty. Oh. What the hell?
I'm such a loser.
Did you really mute him?
No, when it came in, it unmuted the show, and then I don't know if that was weird. I had the show muted, and as soon as he popped in, it unmuted, and I thought that it was him.
Oh.
And my camera is my camera off?
Nope. It's off.
Well, it didn't. His camera screws up. Like, he'll come in and it'll be just a black screen.
Yeah.
And he has to try again.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so we've been doing. John decided, let's be healthy. I was like, all right. So we've been doing smoothies for breakfast and lunch, and then eating supper. And I made pumpkin pie smoothies.
Gross.
No, they were awesome.
We went to Sprouts yesterday, and I bought roasted pumpkin seeds. I love roasted pumpkin seeds.
Yeah, those are delicious.
Tristan wants a recipe for the pumpkin. She said text it to her.
All right.
Yeah.
It's
usually
good.
Yeah.
Hey, I was supposed to tell Tristan something, and I don't remember what I was supposed to text her and tell her.
Okay, well, I'll tell her that you were going to tell her that you forgot what you're going to tell her, but you'll tell her later if you remember.
You told me to tell her, and I don't remember.
I don't know what that meant.
I don't either. See, I should have done it right away, and I didn't.
Oh my God! You know what I had else? You know what else I had at Sprouts yesterday? They had them in the little we squeeze this juice fresh for you section up front, like in the bed of ice. It was beet juice, which I love. You either love or hate beets. I love beets.
Yeah.
Beets taste like dirt.
They do have that very earthy taste, but I don't mind. I like them. And it was like apple, lemon, ginger, and beet. You didn't have as much because I made Trish take a sip. She can't stand beets. She's like, okay, that's actually not half bad. So it was more lemon and ginger were the two stronger flavors, but you could still taste that kind of earthiness of the beet. But it's really good.
Yeah, I love beets, like the whole beet, roasted beets and pickled beets and all that. The juice just doesn't do it for me, man. Like if I put it, I'll use it in a juice. Like if I make a smoothie, or if I juice some kale or something, and it's good for you, so I choke it down. But if it's really strong, like it's hard for me to drink it.
It wasn't really strong in that one.
You can get beetroot powder, which is amazing for your body, and it doesn't have that, hey, I just ate a spoon of dirt.
Does it have that god-awful red dye or what? I mean, why do they have that stuff?
Just turns everything like red.
Well, the beetroot powder is just powdered beets. It's purple.
And turnips is the other thing I really like.
I like roasted turnips.
Yeah, look, we have beetroot.
Yep. That Tristan should be taking that because that would be really, really, really good for her.
Beta vulgaris rubra.
I make blush out of it.
Do you know what that sounds? It sounds. Hold on. I gotta type that one.
That's the, look, we ordered it off Amazon. She makes blush out of it. She started making like all natural makeup one time, or I don't know if she still does it. But is this the one that spilled in the shipment?
No, that was the turmeric.
Oh,
Oh God, that had to stink.
And Amazon ended up just giving my money back on the whole order because the one bag, they didn't double seal it. It just busted open. So I'm surprised it got delivered because it was covered in powder on the outside of the box when we got it.
Wow. You just brought it back and cleaned it up, or what?
Not all of it had spilled out of the bag, so I just zipped it back up, let her keep the rest of it, and then wiped down all the bottles of everything else that had spilled all over. Because Amazon was like, throw it away, do whatever you want to with it. We're just going to give your money back on the whole like $80 order.
Okay, so you ordered some and it showed up broken. It wasn't like you were sending in an FBA shipment with turmeric as one of the items. Okay.
No, but it was a really good example of where somebody had just really crappy packaging, didn't double seal it, it just banged around. Amazon didn't do their job with the order, the prime order, and just threw it all in a box with like one air pillow. It's like, what was the here's one air pillow just in case.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that that we always talk about. It's like when you're doing your FBA shipments, you should definitely think about what happens if this explodes. What happens if this breaks? What happens if this happens? DVDs, video games, stuff like that. Don't just send your DVDs in like, well, this one's sealed and new, but where you can just open it or whatever. I mean.
And at first I sent a lot of DVDs in like that, and then the more I got to thinking about it, if that stuff gets tossed into like a bin or a tunnel and goes down into assembly line or whatever to wherever else it's going to go in the warehouse, I mean that's going to get banged around a lot. It doesn't take a whole lot for a case on a CD or DVD to like pop open and the disc to pop out.
Exactly, and that's the thing too. Like at first I would just send them in like this, and then I started taping them shut. But then every once in a while you get somebody complaining because it comes loose, and you can hear it when it shows up, and you hear that. It's like, damn it. Right. So I started doing I started doing this a long time ago. I used to play a lot of war games, and whenever I'd buy people's Warhammer armies, they'd have this foam stuff that you could like pull little pieces out to make like custom holes in the bricks of foam, but you end up with these. They're like little squares, and all I do is like cut these down to like 1/4 of an inch or so, and stick them in there, and I mean, it holds them from popping off the center ring. So I just do that, and like one thing of the foam tray, like one foam tray, will make enough for like 1,000 DVDs or something like that.
The other thing I did in the very beginning, before I had ordered bags, and so I first started doing FBA, I didn't know what all I would need, was I went to Staples and got these clear, they're called like document seals or envelope seals or something, and they were clear, and they're like 2-inch or 3-inch. They're just round stickers. And you can buy like a whole, I think it was a little box full of them for like next to nothing, and I would use those to seal the edge as well.
Yeah. Well,
or in a pinch, I'll use one of my Dymo labels.
Yeah. Well, what I started to do, just because I feel like video gamers are assholes, is I'll get like I'll just polybag them now. That way, you don't have the sticker on the case, and if it's a collectible game or whatever, if somebody's picky about that stuff, when they get it, then it's in a bag, so they can just pull the game out, and then they got a perfect game. They don't have to worry about peeling stickers off and all that other stuff. And then if it's got that little foam bumper on the inside, then it's like, oh wow, they went that extra mile, to make sure that it was protected. But I mean, it's a lot of different things I do stuff like that with, though. I'm not afraid to bubble wrap and poly bag and do all that with a lot of stuff, especially if you're selling used stuff. But I mean, even if you're doing new stuff, if you're selling like shampoo or hot sauce or, flour, whatever, if you just poly bag the product, even though it's sealed and in a good like container or whatever, then it's just one extra step that can save you from losing an entire shipment because something breaks or whatever. But I know Mike has a Mike used to talk about it all the time. The how he has the heat sink or the heat shrink bags that he uses for all that stuff, and that's probably, I would say, the best way to do it. But I've got a bunch of these free poly bags that I got that are in my shop. So I mean, I've got like a huge case of them. So until those run out, I am buying heat shrink bags.
Well, it looks a lot more professional to bag, I think, and that was one thing where I did kind of evolve. You know, I went from kind of doing nothing at first to using those seals, very quickly using those seals to, hey, I just need to buy bags, which weren't really that expensive. I think the end product, and now that I've seen what can happen in a warehouse over time when things get moved around and banged around and transferred. I mean, because a lot of people you got to realize your stuff doesn't, just because you send it to Kentucky to CVG3 doesn't mean it's going to stay there. It may, if that DVD sits in your inventory for a year, it may move 10 times in a warehouse. I mean, it may move from warehouse to warehouse. I mean, you know, it's going to go on a truck, in a box, down a conveyor belt numerous times. And some of the stuff that I've recalled back that's been really kind of, you know, beat up, it's like, ooh, I definitely need to polybag stuff as much as possible. Unless it's like an item that's going to sell immediately when it gets there, then we'll.
Yeah, well, I still polybag. Basically, I have like my list of things that I'll polybag. You know, if it's a box,
Right.
it's still in the original container, I'm not gonna mess with that. But you know, like if it's a board game or a puzzle or something like that, I just slap a label on it and it's gone. But I mean, like video games, I'll polybag these. You know, like if I was gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna sell this on Amazon or eBay, but like these video game consoles. This is a really crappy one, by the way. I don't recommend picking these up unless you can get them for next to nothing. But you know, you can either something like this. I could either get away with polybagging it or just bubble wrapping. But what I've been doing with this kind of stuff is I'll polybag all the components. You know, like the controller and the cables. Put them all in the same bag, and then I'll bubble wrap everything. And the bag, or all the stuff will be inside the bubble wrap, and the console is also bubble wrapped. So, and it's just everything's all together, but it's not. You can't lose parts or whatever, you know. And I don't necessarily have to like put it in its own box marked ready to ship. However, I did find out from a rep that was very, very helpful last week. I was trying to reconcile a bunch of inventory, and I had this one item as a $300 DVD recorder, and I got a return on it, and the return said defective was the reason, but it said that it was damaged during shipment in the actual feedback that they left me. So I was like, okay. So obviously it was the typical, you know, put a couple of bubble like airbags in there in a box by Amazon, you know. But they blamed me because I had bubble wrapped it, and they counted that as me prepping the item for shipment. So since I had done that, then it was my fault that when they put it just threw it in a box and sent it to the customer and it got banged around, they blamed me for it. If that makes sense. I was like, wait a minute. So these guys don't have enough common sense to see that it's a big thing that's wrapped in bubble wrap. They still have to do the 2 inches, like the layer of dunnage inside of the box, and then ship it off, you know. But I mean, they've got all these. They've got their standards for how you're supposed to package things, and a lot of times they don't even follow those standards. They just do whatever's easiest and most lightweight for them. So I'm really thinking about just all my electronics in the future, boxing it up myself, and just slapping that ready to ship label on it. The only problem is when you're dealing with like giant receivers and stuff like that, and 5-disc DVD players and that kind of stuff. You need really big boxes, and I'm not really good enough yet at breaking those boxes down. Like I've got a box cutter or a box maker, but it just doesn't look professional when I do it. So I don't really like selling it like that on Amazon, even if it is a brand new box that I've cut down. But I mean, I've even gone into box maker, like a pack and ship place, and watch them do it, and it looks the same as how I do, and it's like, I don't know if that'll fly with everybody. It doesn't look like it came from the manufacturer that way.
That's because they suck at it. You should see me cut one down.
Yeah, I got a lot of electronics that I need to ship into Amazon though. I'm probably gonna try and find a local box place here. There's actually a place not too far from my house that I need to go check out that I found out about just to see if they're. It's like we buy boxes, we sell boxes, or something like that. So I'm afraid that they just sell used boxes, but we'll see.
We buy boxes?
Yeah, they buy boxes back. That's what they say.
Huh.
That's weird.
Yeah, so I don't
I mean,
even
it's
know what that
cool.
means. Yeah, I have no idea what that means. Gonna have to go check it out. But
So,
yeah.
like, after a big move or something, you take all your moving boxes.
Mm-hmm. That way they
Interesting.
don't just get tossed.
Probably recycle them and make new boxes and sell those.
Right. Maybe. But I mean, yeah, I mean if they've got the facility to do that, but it looks like a little storefront. It doesn't even look like
Okay.
it's not like a manufacturer or a warehouse or something like that.
That's interesting.
It's a front for drugs.
Well, they don't have to front there.
Right? Yeah. I did go to the Weigh and Pay yesterday, finally. I got a ton of eBay stuff there. I got a few things for Amazon, but it was almost all eBay. I kept going through the shoes, and it's like, Jesus. Allen Edmonds wingtips, and got a nice pair of lugs. I got like 20 pairs of shoes probably. And they changed, last time I went there, it was like $1.50 a pound for all the housewares and stuff like that and the clothing. But if you were over 20 pounds, it went down to like 99 cents a pound. And then if you were at 50 plus pounds, then it was like 79 cents a pound. And then all shoes were $2 or like $2.99 a pound. And then all VHS and stuff like that was 99 cents a pound. And they changed it to 49 cents an item for DVDs and books and media, basically. And then everything else except glassware. Like glassware was 59 cents a pound, and then everything else was 99 cents a pound across the board. So it made it a lot easier to go through and put all the, like, fill up a cart, basically. But I filled up a pretty freaking big cart.
Glassware at the Weigh and Pay just does not sound like a good idea.
That glassware at the Weigh and Pay is the reason that you should wear like mechanics gloves, like heavy duty mechanics gloves when you're looking around in the bins, like digging around, because oh my goodness, really easy to get cut. I about took my finger off the second time that I went to the Weigh and Pay, but I had like a big heavy pair of mechanics gloves on because I reached into this pile, I reached underneath, and there was like a plasma torch cut chunk of cast iron.
Oh, geez.
Like this box or something, and I just reached under and grabbed it, and like if I wouldn't have been wearing those gloves, then it would not have been pretty. So yeah, anytime you're going to the Weigh and Pay, wear gloves.
See how that place gets away without getting the crap suit out of them when somebody gets cut. And I don't care what kind of disclaimers they put on the wall and all that wouldn't stand up in court. But
there's no disclaimers on the wall. There's no disclaimers on the wall. There's nothing. There's no warnings.
I heard there was.
Not at the. If there were, I didn't see them, so obviously it's not like obvious enough. But I don't know. If you're careful, you're fine. But it's just it's really easy to find a lot of really, really cheap stuff there. You're just bound to. I can't believe that they have that much stuff, and like that. If you know what you're looking at, then it's like quality stuff, you know.
It's quality stuff.
But you got to deal with all the guys that are like professionals in there with their teams of other guys that, you know, like the shoes. There were 2 lines of shoes, and every time the shoes would come out, there were like 2 groups that would just sit there and grab everything, and they wouldn't even look at them. They would just grab anything that looked like it might be worth something and throw it in a bin, and then they'd take them into a corner and they'd start going through everything and throwing stuff back. I can't tell you how many shoes I found that were like, oh my god, where's the freaking second one for this? But if you're doing shoes at the Weigh and Pay, just if you find a really nice one, stick it in your cart, come back in an hour. The same bin will still probably be there. They change them like every 3 or 4 hours for the shoes, at least at mine. And then if the guys that picked up all the shoes don't find a match, they just put it back in the bin. So, yeah, after a while you can kind of look through and mix and match and find some really nice pairs of shoes for like a couple bucks a pair. I mean, they're really cheap. I mean, yeah, there are really trashy, nasty ones, but there are some nice ones. Like, you'll find nice ones too. First time I went there is when I found that pair of Air Jordan 1s. They were like beat to hell, completely trashed. The soles were worn out. They had a hole in the toe. I grabbed them and was like, whatever. I took them home and I sold them for like $185.
Dang.
So, yeah. I found another pair of really early Air Jordans yesterday, or not a pair, only one shoe. I couldn't find the other one. I was so mad, but they were like rainbow colored and everything, but the sole was falling off and they were in just as bad a shape as the other pair I'd found, but they were like 3s or 4s. Almost couldn't find the match. But, and then electronics. And that's another thing when you're at the WAMPay. Electronics. If you get like a big high-end receivers and DVD players and stuff like that, don't weigh those out. A lot of times they'll give them to you for like half of what they weigh because they're so big and heavy. So, I mean, I picked up a couple of stereos and like I got this 5-disc DVD player / VHS recorder, and it was like $299, you know. And I mean, that thing's probably going to be worth at least $100. It was a Sony.
I can't remember how the one here does the electronics. It was completely different from everything else, but I don't remember. I thought it wasn't by weight. I thought it was something different. I can't remember how to do it.
It's just per item here. Like, they'll call out a manager, and then the manager's like, $3, $4, $6, $3, like off the top of his head. It's so ridiculous. I was just like, okay. I had a Wii Fit board, and he wanted $6 for that. I was like, throw it back. I don't need it for that. I usually just pick those up now when they're like $1 or $2. I buy those at garage sales all the time for nothing. Like, people just throw it in, but I mean, they're not as good as they used to be, but I still get $20 or $30 depending on which games I bundle with them. And when you're getting them for really, really cheap, then it's all good. Totally worth it. They weren't really selling because I had them priced too high before, but when my repricer kicked in, they've just been moving really fast now. Might have to start buying them again at decent price, but I don't know yet.
I was trying to look it up but it's not, like, it doesn't tell me, like, the pricing online. It says, like, textiles 99 cents a pound, hard goods, toys, plastics, decorations, etc. 89 cents a pound, shoes $1.19 a pound, accessories, purses, luggage, and stuff 89 cents, and then priced per unit are DVDs, CDs, VHS tapes, computer games, and books. But it doesn't say the electronics, and I know they have an electronics section. So I'm thinking, I think they were just priced individually.
Oh, they don't have an electronics section at my WAMPay. They just throw this stuff in on top of all the other stuff.
This one has an electronics section, and then there's even a furniture section. They had,
Really?
yeah, they're small sections. I mean, it's not, a huge part, but yeah, they had them separated out.
Yeah,
they were like at the front of the store in the corner. Like on the one side is where you come in, and then beside that is the checkout places, and then next to that is the furniture, and then next to that were the electronic, like the DVD players and TVs and that kind of stuff. There were small and handheld electronics and phones and things like that out in the bins, but all the big stuff, they separated it.
Yeah, they the way that mine's set up, it's like probably 6 rows. It's like 20 rows total or something like that, maybe 24 rows. Like the first 6 or 8 rows is all clothing, and then the next few rows are like housewares, housewares, electronics, stuff like that, like small electronics. And then there's a row of books, 2 rows of shoes, and then like 5 more rows of housewares and toys and board games and stuff like that. and then like the last 1 or 2 rows is all big electronics and like blinds and curtains and blankets and like all the big stuff is on the end there. And then there's an open space just a little bit farther down that's all the bicycles, and there were a few like paintings and stuff, but I didn't really see much in the way of furniture. But I'll see like lawnmowers there sometimes and stuff like that. But it was actually, I almost bought a couple bikes, but I knew that I wouldn't have been able to get them home because I just wasn't going to have room in my car, so I left them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they were like vintage Swins for $8. I was like, really? Damn it.
Our Goodwill suck.
You don't have a weigh and pay though, right?
I don't have any weigh and pays, and like literally, like if you're familiar with Alabama, you have like Birmingham and Montgomery kind of in the middle of the state. You have Huntsville up north. There's like one in Birmingham, I think. I was just looking here. I think there's one in Birmingham. There's one here in Huntsville, and that's it for the whole, pretty much the whole northern half of the state. Might be one in Scottsboro, but I can't remember. But they're all like Target. I don't know if it's because we have distribution centers here in Alabama, but it's like Target clearance crap. That's it. Like, I don't even know where. You're never going to walk into one of them, in the ones I've been to here. Maybe it's different in the south part of Alabama, but you'll never walk in and find an antique anything. You might find in furniture maybe, but you're not like in household and all that. It's just going to be like yard sale throwaway crap and Target return stuff. And the Target return stuff, that sounds good, except for the fact that they price really, really greedy. Like if Target had, you know, on the little, and they'll leave the red tag on there. Original price $49.99. Target's marked it down to like $5, and it didn't sell. So then the Goodwill, in their infinite wisdom, will put like $25 on it.
Yeah.
And they write black magic marker across the package.
They write with black magic marker over the barcode here, which really annoys the crap out of me. Like most of the time, you can still get a scan, especially if you've got a Bluetooth fob, but sometimes you can't get it to scan, so like, whatever. I'm not even messing with it. But I don't even hardly, you know, me with
scribble out the barcode and right across the front of the package.
Jeez. Yeah.
I go through once every 6 months just for shits and giggles, and that's it. Because I'd really just, I mean, even from a non-reselling standpoint, from just running a thrift store standpoint, people do go to thrift stores to buy, especially if it's Target new merchandise, to buy stuff to gift, you know, use as gifts and stuff like that. Why would anybody want to buy anything that has, whether it be a gift or not, that has the price written across the front with black magic marker across the front of the package?
It's usually pretty easy to get that off, though. I mean, to be fair, it does come right off with the right
If it's
chemical.
the shiny plastic, yeah. Then the dry erase marker trick works. But, you know, and I get there's probably something in their contract with Goodwill that they have to make the box where it can't be returned or whatever. That doesn't mean right across the front of the package.
Yeah. Making the box unreturnable. Right. I mean, you can't. I mean, I would never go to Target, and if I bought something from Goodwill that was a Target return that ended up being broken, that Goodwill didn't want back, I would never go to Target and buy the exact same thing and then take the broken one and put it in the new package and then return that. I mean,
that could be done just as easily as well. If you're going to make it unreturnable, you might as well do like, I think it's like Granger, some of those stores do, when they throw stuff in the dumpster, they use red spray paint and spray paint everything.
Right.
You know? Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. My philosophy on stuff like that is if Target is selling something to Goodwill, they should be selling them. They're making them pay for it, and they shouldn't be selling them broken crap.
Right.
See, and I don't know if they're selling that stuff to them or donating. I don't know if it varies from region to region, you know, because all the Goodwills, and that's kind of a common misconception that I always hear every time something happens, and one of the Goodwills, one of them gets arrested, and I'm not sticking up for Goodwill, trust me. That's my least favorite charity on the entire planet. But, you know, they are actually one big Goodwill headquarters in the United States and then lots of little individual corporations. So just because of the one in, like, Massachusetts or wherever it was, all the guys got arrested for embezzling or whatever, that doesn't mean that they're all totally corrupt, you know. Just because mine here, and I think it's Central Alabama Goodwill, I think there's actually a couple corporations here. Just because they suck and do that to the Target doesn't mean they're all bad. You know what I mean? But I always hear people griping, oh, Jim Gibbons, the CEO, and we could go off on that one today, and that's like Snopes.com. It's just, you know, be informed. It is a charity. you do have IRS standards that you have to live up to, unless you're embezzling. And IRS standards you have to live up to, or you will lose your nonprofit status. You form I forget which form it is, 990s that you fill out every year, where you have to say where the money goes, and a certain percent goes to management and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it always kills me when you're like you're paying them for something that they got for free to go towards their charity, and then they ask you to round up at the end. Like when you're doing the transaction, it's like, really, you're gonna try and get me for like that extra little 20 cents or whatever every single time I shop here? I mean, most of the time, like, yeah, whatever. But I mean, it makes bookkeeping easier anyway.
I actually did that I never round up because I have other charities and things that we give to, and that's where I want to send my money. And don't hate me because I didn't round up 13 cents. But we were at the Goodwill in Rome, Georgia, about a month ago, and it was like $67.99. And she goes, "Would you like to round up?" I said, "Absolutely." And my wife just turned. She's like, "Oh my God, really? You gave them a penny?" I was like, "Yeah, feeling generous today."
Yeah, if it's a couple cents, then I feel bad about you.
One penny. And the girl even looked at me. She goes, "Well, thank you." And I said, "Yeah, y'all don't spend all that in one place." Quit color coordinating the clothes because that drives me crazy. I don't want to walk in and look at all yellow shirts or all blue shirts.
Well, the only reason the color coordination thing drives me crazy is because they put the different sizes, or they don't sort by size. They'll sort it by freaking color, and it's easier for resellers actually. But for somebody that when I actually am trying to find stuff, for me, it's like, really, guys, I gotta go through this entire run.
You're like, oh, that's a 6XL. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But so, what's everybody's plans for the week? Anything interesting?
Just trying to get more hats on the website.
You're actually trying? You actually started a website where you're selling used hats?
Correct.
Separately from eBay? How's that going?
Yeah. It's going okay. I mean, it's not, traffic is a pain, but it's definitely going to get a ton more traffic with eBay. I just figured this is a place, if I could get, a couple extra sales a month, then I'm happy with it.
Now, do you have a Facebook group or anything like that attached to it where you're trying to drive people in so that you can send them to the site? How are you getting people to the website in the first place?
I auto-publish to Hats by Hustlewide on Facebook and auto-tweet. Every time one is listed, it automatically shoots it out to social media.
Okay. Nice. So have you been looking? How are you on SEO? Have you been getting pretty good with that?
You just broke up really bad. Can you say that again?
SEO, how have you been doing with that? Have you been doing a lot of research on getting it dialed in, or are you kind of just relying more on social media to drive all the traffic?
Actually, there's a Yoast plugin that Danica told me about, and it grades your social media score as you're doing it. So as long as I got the little green light, I'm good.
As long as you're doing the keywords and stuff? Is that what you're talking about?
Correct. Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty sweet. I'm going to have to look into that. Because I've been thinking about that, doing my own website for clothing, men's clothes, just because I feel like it's the kind of niche that you can actually get a lot of traffic. If somebody, that's the kind of thing that you can get repeat buyers for, because if somebody just likes your taste and the kind of stuff that you're putting up, it'd be almost like establishing a brand.
Exactly.
And I mean, somebody buys a Ralph Lauren polo, they know what to expect from it, what it's going to look like. So that's why they use that keyword when they're searching for a shirt. It's that's the brand I want. And if you can start to, if you're selling certain kind of stuff and sticking to that kind of style or whatever, then you can almost establish that. Especially with Pinterest and stuff.
And for me, if I'm going to buy a hat, I could get it cheaper on eBay, but if I can find a website where I know that's all they have, and I trust them. I'm better with not having to sift through 5 billion different things to find what I want.
Exactly.
So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that I'm not the only one like that.
Right. Yeah. Instagram, I've been trying to mess with that. Tina Salas just said that she uses it. And I've heard that there are people that are literally like running entire clothing businesses just off of their Instagram. Like they'll post something to Instagram and somebody will just buy it directly. Like you don't even need a website. You don't need to post it on eBay. None of that. They just snatch it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're doing that.
Because they have so many people following them and they think that they are iconic. They typically do things in the same style, like mod clothing.
When you say they, you don't mean the person that's doing the Instagram. You mean the customers think that they're. And that's what
the customers.
That's where I was getting at with the kind of establishing your brand, even if it's not necessarily your brand. You know, if you're just selling a certain style and sticking to a certain style of whatever, then people start to pay attention, and that's where you get the repeat buyers on that sort of thing.
Yep.
I would love to have somebody on though that's like an expert on doing it, because I want to learn more about it, and really just getting more followers on Instagram and Twitter, like that kind of Instagram and Twitter. Just I haven't been able to crack those, man. Like it's too. It is a vast ocean, and really rising to the top. I don't understand how people do it, but paying for tweets, I guess.
I would definitely like to learn how to sell better on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever use Twitter because I don't think I'll ever use Twitter as a sales platform, but Instagram is kind of built for that. And I hear that Pinterest can do really well too, but I don't really get Pinterest either. It's a little bit more like, what's the point as I'm doing stuff? Is this accomplishing anything? Am I doing anything right now, or is this just, am I wasting my time? You know,
Pinterest is all about followers too. But Pinterest, it's a whole lot easier, you know, as people share your pins and things. Like I have homeschooling boards on my Pinterest that stuff that I posted. Like I got invited into the beta of Pinterest, and I have things that I pinned then. And they are still being repinned. Like I am still getting traffic from pins that I posted during the beta of Pinterest.
Wow. So it just depends on who pins it. Like if you get the right person, then you get a lot of attention or whatever.
Well, and you can also invite people to follow your boards. So, you know, if you spend 15 minutes cruising, you know, finding homeschoolers, you know, for that board. If I just spent like 15 minutes like twice a week, cruising through people's Pinterest, seeing people, you know, just put in homeschool and find people that have homeschool boards, you know, and you can invite them to follow your board, and, you know, you may make a customer there.
Gotcha. I got a question for you. I found like a Banana Republic, like a vintage, I think it's vintage, Banana Republic bomber jacket, like a leather jacket yesterday at the weigh-in pay, and it's made in the USA. How long do they still have items made in the USA, or does it have to be a certain age?
I don't think.
Nope. Everything's made in China.
Yeah, I don't think Banana Republic has anything here.
Yeah, but I mean,
Banana Republic. I thought you meant everything in general. I was gonna say everything pretty much anymore is made in China.
Yeah, pretty much. But I wasn't sure if Banana Republic made certain things still in the U.S. or if it's been a certain amount of time since they've made. Maybe somebody in the audience knows, because I mean, it's a nice jacket. I'm gonna pay like $1.
Maybe Ronnie Hart would know.
Yeah, if anybody knows, it's Ronnie.
Oh, he's listening.
Oh,
Say hi, Ronnie. Along with Chad. Chad just waiting for Amazon to pop up so he can come in and talk about it. Hey, look what I got the other day, Jake. I was going to get a hold of you on it. It's Alabama. I want to say this is probably 2012 because it's got Greg McElroy, who was our quarterback. I think he's quit.
Nice.
2012 and went to the Jets or was drafted by the Jets. I'm not sure. I was doing some research while I was sitting here because I forgot to look him up the other day. Don't know who that one is. And I don't know. I'll have to look and see who number 77 was. But the question I had somebody obviously partied really hard in this hat, and got drunk, and apparently threw up all over themselves. Or, no, I mean, it's just nasty. Like, I don't know if that shows up, but it's nasty.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I can't really wash it because of. I'm just kidding, Paul. But I can't really wash it because of the signature. So
Now the parts that need to be washed, is that like right there on the signature? Because it's a little washed
I mean,
out for me.
I could technically get away with keeping all that dry and just washing the bottom half.
Okay.
Or
Just
like,
do it with a toothbrush.
ooh, and some OxyClean.
Yeah, get the OxyClean, some lemon juice, and hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
About that much water in it too.
Like the ring around the hat part, I can get that out too. You think?
Yeah. You should be able to.
Hold on, let me
Like-
smell it. I'm kidding.
About 80% of the time, I can clean the sweatband pretty good.
Okay.
And if I can't, I'll take that same solution and make it into a paste,
Right.
paint it on there, and let it dry. I make it into a paste with baking soda,
Right.
and so it'll dry and it'll suck that stuff up into the baking soda, and then you rinse it off and scrub it again. It's usually good.
Right on.
Gotcha. Tight end Preston Dial, whoever he was. Sorry, Preston, if you're listening.
I'm horrible with signatures. I wish I could help you there.
Well, the
Yeah,
cool
so
thing is, once I figured out the year, they all put their numbers after their name, so it shouldn't be hard. I'm going through. I got to figure out the kind of that exact year, which I think is 2012, and then go through and find the roster for that year.
Awesome. Yeah, some Alabama fan is going to go crazy over that.
Yup.
Yeah.
They pay stupid money for stuff.
Yeah. Well, you got to have the stuff authenticated to get the real money, but I mean, if it's people will see it and they'll know just by if you take good enough pictures whether or not it's a real autograph, and they won't pay as much because it doesn't have a certificate of authenticity. But I mean, if it's obviously real, then they're still gonna pay up. But
Yeah.
College football stuff, I've never really had that issue. I mean, I'm sure it is forged or faked or whatever, but
yeah,
it's not. People usually don't question it.
yeah, I guess you're right. College football isn't as stingy as the NFL, but anyway, I think it's about that time, guys. Let me wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for coming on, everybody for watching, and Jake, what's the name of your website one more time for if you if you guys don't want to buy the hats, just go and check it out so you can see like how he's got everything set up and kind of stuff he's doing, just in case you have ideas yourself about maybe setting up your own website and trying to sell things directly yourself.
It's hustlewide.com, and then just click the hats by Hustlewide.
Right on. So yeah, I'll go check it out today and see if I can pick up any ideas, steal some of your.
Hey, go for it, man.
But yeah, and then if I got any suggestions for you, maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow or something. But Reseller Wakeup's Facebook group, go check it out. If you're not a member, then we post a lot of bolos and a lot of goofs and a lot of some silly stuff. We try and keep it light, but if you have any suggestions for the show, comments, whatever, you can either post them up over there, or you can also post in the comment section below. Easiest way to find the show, obviously, is just subscribe. That red subscribe button right there, hit that, and then, of course, if you like the content, if you like what you see today, if you want to see more of this, thumbs up always gives us a good indication of what y'all think. But once again, thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back tomorrow morning, and Bitcoin.